Grace is never a substitute for human effort and resourcefulness. Rather, grace is an aid to human effort. 1 Corinthians chapter 15 verse 10. But by the grace of God, in the Amplified Version, 1 Corinthians 15:10. But by the grace, the unmerited favor and blessing of God, I am what I am, and his grace toward me was not found to be nothing, fruitless, and without effect. In fact, because grace was at work in my life, I worked harder than all of them, than all the remaining apostles, though it was not really I, but the grace, the unmerited favor and blessing of God, which was with me. All right, so grace, the presence of grace in your life is not permission for the abdication of human responsibility. Let me put it this way: if you do not work, grace will not work in your life. If you do not work, grace will not work in your life. Grace is like an enzyme. An enzyme without a substrate will not do anything. Grace is a catalyst. All right? Maybe that's a better way of putting it. Grace is a catalyst. There must be a chemical reaction that is ongoing for the catalyst to have an effect. There must be reactants and there must be products, and the catalyst is only added to speed up the rate of the chemical reaction. If there is no ongoing chemical reaction, pour catalyst into the beaker, nothing will happen. People that are praying, God, give me grace, give me grace. What are you doing with your life? Grace is like fuel, like petrol, that you put in your tank. You load it up, full tank. Oh, share down, go full tank. But engine till knock. And you now sit in the car and you say, oh yeah, grace, carry me. That grace will not take you anywhere. You will sit in the car and say, well, I'm enjoying grace. Pastor Wala Anointing, he releases grace upon us every Sunday. And you say, I'm under grace. I'm enjoying grace. You turn 30, I'm under grace. Grace is at work in my life. You turn 35, you turn 40, you turn 45, you turn 50, and you still shout grace, grace. And then we look at your life. There's nothing to show for it. Because if you do not work, grace will not work. So when God told Apostle Paul in 2 Corinthians chapter 12 verse 9 that my grace is sufficient for you, God was not giving him a license to live a life of permissiveness, a life of laxity, or a life of laziness, expecting God to show up someday and somehow miraculously take him over the limitations in his life. And when God says the same thing to you, and he says my grace is enough for you, by my grace I can take you above that wall. The wall may not come down, the limitation may not be removed from your life, but there is a grace that is available in me to take you above that limitation, to ensure that what you lack will not count against you. God is not giving you an excuse to now say, grace is what I need. I get what I'm saying. As a matter of fact, the release of grace over your life is actually a signal for renewed personal commitment and effort towards your forward and upward movement in life.